Okay, so I'm 78 years old, and let me tell you something about being 78. People assume you're fragile. They assume you're confused. They assume your brain is like a computer running Windows 95, slow, outdated, and one click away from total collapse. My daughter Jessica, she really assumed that. She bet her entire future on it, actually. Big mistake. For context, I'm not some helpless old lady who can't work her phone or remember where she put her glasses. I ran a successful accounting firm for 40 years. I retired at 68, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I sold that business for a very comfortable amount, enough to buy my dream house in a nice neighbourhood, travel twice a year, and still have plenty left over. I'm sharp, I'm healthy, I'm fine. But Jessica started getting ideas, dangerous ideas, the kind of ideas that start with mum's getting older and end with, so I should probably take control of her assets before she does something stupid, except I wasn't doing anything stupid. I was living my best life, but that didn't fit her narrative. It started small, like it always does. She'd visit more often, which was nice at first, don't get me wrong. I'd raised her alone after her father left when she was 6, put her through college, helped with her wedding, gave her the down payment for her first house. I'd been a good mother, maybe too good. And now she was being attentive, thoughtful, calling me twice a week. Just checking in, Mum. How are you feeling, Mum? Do you need anything, Mum? At first I thought, wow, my daughter finally appreciates me. She's finally realised how much I did for her. She's matured, she cares. And then the questions started, weird questions, questions that didn't sound like concern. They sounded like an audit. Mum, are you still handling your own finances? Do you have a will? Have you thought about what happens to the house if something happens to you? Maybe I should be on your bank accounts, just in case. Just in case of what, Jessica? Just in case I forget how to subtract? Just in case I suddenly lose 40 years of financial experience? Just in case is what people say when they mean, I want access to your money, but I'm going to pretend it's for your own good. Red flag number 1. But I brushed it off. Because she's my daughter. She couldn't, right? Then she brought her husband, Derek. Oh, Derek. Derek is one of those guys who thinks he's smarter than everyone because he watched a TED Talk once and read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He works in investments, which means he loses other people's money professionally and calls it market volatility. The man couldn't invest his way out of a paper bag, but he loves giving financial advice, especially unsolicited financial advice, especially to his elderly mother-in-law who has more money than he'll ever see. They came over for Sunday dinner. Nice, normal, except halfway through the pot roast, Derek casually says, you know, Margaret, at your age, you really should consider putting the house in a trust for tax purposes, for estate planning, for your protection. My protection. Sure, Derek, I'm sure you're thinking about my protection and not about how to get our hands on an $800,000 house. I actually have a guy, he continued, a lawyer, real expert in elder law. He could help you set everything up, make it nice and clean, make it easy. Easy for whoa, exactly. Red flag number 2. But I smiled, nodded, said, that's sweet of you to think of me, Derek. I'll consider it. And I watched him and Jessica exchange a look. That look, the one that says we're making progress, the one that says she's buying it, the one that says stupid old lady doesn't know what's coming, except this stupid old lady knows exactly what a trust means and she knows that whoever controls the trust controls everything. A week later, Jessica called. "Mom, great news. I set up an appointment for you with Derek's lawyer. Thursday at 2 p.m. I'll pick you up. We'll go together. It'll be fun." Fun. Going to a lawyer's office to sign away your assets is now considered fun. What a time to be alive. But I said, okay, because I wanted to see how far they'd take this. I wanted to see the plan. And oh boy, did they have a plan. Thursday came. Jessica picked me up, chattering the whole way about how this is so responsible of you, Mom, and you're so smart to get ahead of this, and this will make everything so much easier for everyone. Everyone, not me, everyone. We arrived at this lawyer's office, fancy building, expensive furniture, the kind of place that charges $500 just to breathe their air. The lawyer, Mr. Reynolds, was exactly what you'd expect. Slick suit, practiced smile, handshake like a dead fish. He probably had a yacht named Probate. He started his pitch, and let me tell you, it was smooth. "Oh, Mrs. Margaret, at your age, it's so important to protect your assets, to ensure your legacy, to make sure your loved ones are taken care of." He slid papers across his enormous desk. "This is a simple trust arrangement. You transfer your primary asset, your home, into the trust. Your daughter Jessica would be named as trustee. She'd manage everything, handle all the decisions, and you'd have full use of the property for the rest of your life, of course." Of course. How generous. "And what happens if I want to sell the house?" I asked, sweet, innocent, confused old lady voice. He smiled like I'd just asked what colour the sky was. "Well, that would require trustee approval, but Jessica only wants what's best for you, so I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem." Trustee approval. Translation: Jessica's approval, Jessica's permission to sell my house that I bought with my money that I earned over 40 years. Red flag number 3, 4, and 5. But I didn't sign anything. I told them I needed to think about it and talk to my book club because apparently that's what they thought old ladies do. Consult our book clubs about major financial decisions. Jessica looked annoyed. Derek looked frustrated. Mr. Reynolds looked like a used car salesman who just watched a sale drive off the lot, but they couldn't push too hard. Not yet. Not while I still had the illusion of choice. I went home, made tea, sat in my beautiful living room in my beautiful house that I bought myself, and I thought about what had just happened. My daughter, my only child, the person I'd sacrificed everything for, had just tried to trick me into signing away my home. She'd brought her idiot husband and a lawyer who probably got his degree from a cereal box. They'd smiled, they'd used words like protection and legacy and simple, and they'd assumed I was too old, too stupid, too trusting to see what they were really doing. That's when I got angry. Not sad, not hurt, angry, because I'd worked my entire life for what I had. I'd raised Jessica alone. I'd put her through school. I'd given her everything. And this was how she repaid me? By trying to steal my house while pretending it was for my own good. Oh, honey, no, not today, not ever. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I called my actual lawyer, Robert. I'd known him for 30 years, trusted him completely, told him everything. He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Margaret, I hate to tell you this, but this is more common than you think, and it's probably going to get worse. Worse. Worse." He explained that once they realised I wasn't signing, they might try other tactics. Maybe try to declare me mentally incompetent. Maybe forge documents. Maybe just wait until I had a health scare and swoop in with power of attorney paperwork. But here's what we're going to do, Robert said. We're going to lock everything down, every asset, every account, every piece of property. We're going to make it impossible for anyone to touch anything without your explicit written consent. And we're going to watch and wait, because people who do this, they don't stop. They escalate. He was right. 2 weeks later, Jessica showed up at my house with more paperwork. Just some simple updates, Mum. Financial stuff. Boring, I know, but it's important. Simple updates. Right. I pretended to look through them. And buried in the middle, hidden in the middle, surrounded by nonsense legal jargon designed to confuse, was a power of attorney document, giving Jessica full legal authority over my finances, my property, my life. If I'd signed that, game over. She'd have been able to sell my house, drain my accounts, and stick me in a nursing home before I could say, wait a minute. But I didn't sign it. I said I needed my reading glasses, my better reading glasses, the ones at the optometrist, for my appointment. Next week, I'll sign it then. Maybe, probably, we'll see. She left frustrated. Again. But this time, she didn't hide it as well. I could see the cracks forming, the fake sweetness wearing thin, the mask slipping, and that's when I decided it's time to do some investigating, because if Jessica was trying to steal my house, I needed to know why. Was she in debt? Was Derek in trouble? What was going on? So I did what any tech-savvy 78-year-old does. I Googled them, and oh boy did I find things. Turns out Derek's investment company was on the verge of collapse. Lawsuits, angry clients, missing funds. The man was drowning. And Jessica, she'd co-signed on his business loans, multiple business loans. They were in debt up to their eyeballs. They were going to lose everything unless they could get their hands on some quick cash, like, say, an $800,000 house they could sell that their stupid old mother wouldn't even notice was gone until it was too late. But wait, it gets better. I kept digging, found out they'd already been talking to real estate agents, already had the house appraised, already had buyers lined up. They were planning the whole thing. Step 1, get control of the house through the trust. Step 2, declare me mentally unfit. Step 3, sell the house for my own safety. Step 4, stick me in a cheap nursing home. Step 5, pocket the difference and save Derek's failing business. It was all planned out like a heist movie, except I was supposed to be the clueless victim who never saw it coming. I sat there in my living room, reading through all of this on my iPad. Yes, I have an iPad, Jessica. I'm not a fossil. And I felt something I hadn't felt in years. That old spark, that fire, the same feeling I used to get when I'd catch someone cooking the books at my firm, when I'd find a discrepancy that everyone else missed, when I'd solve the puzzle. And this was a puzzle where my daughter was trying to rob me, and I was going to solve it, and then I was going to win. So I made a plan, a counter plan, and it was beautiful. See, Jessica didn't know that I knew about their debt. She didn't know I'd talked to Robert. She didn't know I'd locked everything down. She thought she was playing chess with someone who didn't know the rules. But I'd been playing chess for 78 years, and I was about to flip the board. Here's what I did. I called Jessica. Sweet voice, shaky voice. Honey, I've been thinking about what you said about the trust, and you're right. I am getting older. I should be more careful. Let's do it. Let's set it up. She nearly fell over with excitement. Oh, Mom, that's wonderful. I'm so proud of you. This is the right decision. Right decision. Sure, for her. We set up another meeting with Mr. Slimeball Reynolds, but this time I had Robert on speed dial and a recorder in my purse, because you know what's better than someone trying to scam you? Having proof that they tried to scam you. Recorded proof. Video proof. I'm just going to record this for my records, I said sweetly, pulling out my phone, so I can remember everything. My memory's not what it used to be. Jessica looked uncomfortable. Derek looked panicked. Mr. Reynolds said, "That's really not necessary." "Oh, but I insist," I said, still sweet, still helpless, still the perfect, confused old lady. And I recorded everything, every lie, every manipulation, every time they said, "This is for your protection," while meaning this is for our profit. Every time Jessica pretended to care while really calculating how much she'd make, I recorded it all. And then, at the end of the meeting, I said, "You know what? I've changed my mind. I don't think I'm going to sign this after all." This silence in that room, you could hear a pin drop. You could hear their dreams dying. Jessica's face went from shocked to furious in half a second. "But, Mom, we agreed." "No, Jessica, you agreed. I'm just an old lady who almost made a mistake. Good thing my memory came back." I stood up, grabbed my purse with my secret recording, and walked out, left them sitting there, stunned, angry, exposed. But I wasn't done. Oh no, not even close. Because here's the thing about fighting back. You don't just defend, you attack. So I talked to Robert, told him everything, showed him the recording, showed him the documents they'd tried to get me to sign, showed him proof of their debt, their plan, their intent. And Robert smiled, actually smiled. "Margaret," he said, "I think it's time we had some fun. Here's what we did. Remember how Jessica co-signed Derek's business loans? That means she's personally liable for his debts. And those debts, they're secured against their house, the house I'd helped them buy, the house that was about to be foreclosed on. So Robert and we bought the debt, all of it, through a shell company, completely legal, completely anonymous, and then we called it in. Immediately. Jessica and Derek got a letter. They had 30 days to pay $340,000 or lose the house. They couldn't pay. Of course they couldn't. That's why they were trying to steal mine. So the foreclosure went through. And when the house went to auction, I bought it. For a steal, actually. Real estate crash. Motivated seller, you know how it is. I now own their house. The house I'd helped them buy. The house they'd lived in for 8 years. The house they thought they were safe in while they plotted to take mine. Mine. And you know what I did with it? I evicted them legally, properly, with 60 days notice and everything, because unlike them, I follow the law. Jessica called me screaming. "How could you do this? I'm your daughter. You're ruining our lives." And I said very calmly, "Funny, that's exactly what you were planning to do to me, except I actually earned my house. You were just trying to steal it." She tried to argue, tried to justify. "We were only trying to help you. Help me into a nursing home while you sold my house, that kind of help." Silence, because there's no comeback to the truth. Derek tried a different approach, threatening legal action. "You can't do this. We'll sue." "With what money, Derek? The money you've already lost? The money you owe? Go ahead, sue me. My lawyer would love that." They didn't sue. They moved out into a cramped apartment across town, and I kept their house, rented it out to a lovely young couple with a baby. They pay on time, they're respectful, they appreciate having a landlord who's fair and reasonable, unlike some people. Jessica hasn't called in 6 months, haven't heard a word. I sent her a Christmas card to her new address. Inside I wrote, "Hope you're enjoying your new place. I'm enjoying mine. And yours? Love, Mum." Maybe that was petty. Maybe that was cruel. But you know what? I'm 78 years old. I've earned the right to be petty. I've earned the right to protect what's mine. And I've definitely earned the right to teach my daughter a lesson about trying to con the woman who taught her everything she knows. So if this story made you want to hug your honest kids or check your property records, hit like and subscribe, because I've got more stories. Stories about people who underestimated little old ladies, stories about karma working fast, stories about what happens when you try to take advantage of someone who's been outsmarting people since before you were born. Spoiler alert, we always win. Always. Because experience beats ambition, wisdom beats greed, and a sharp mind beats a pretty smile every single time. At 78, I don't have time for games. But if you want to play, I'll play, and I'll win. Because that's what I do. That's what I've always done. And that's what I'll keep doing until the day they put me in the ground. And even then, I'll probably have a plan.